Howdy everyone, and welcome into this very special episode today. It's going to be slightly different than most episodes that I bring to you, but I wanted to make sure that everyone on my channel understood that I've explained it before, and as an artist, a silversmith, and a reseller, I have never limited myself to one area in terms of collectibles and antiques. Yes, I have specialized in jewelry and decorative arts, but I had also decided to share with you today the fact of some instantaneous decisions that I make out in the world of resale. I do buy and sell every day of the year, including holidays. I am a full-time reseller. I also work at a veterinary hospital, and I am still an auction, I guess you would say curator and assistant. Let's just call it that for right now. So you saw me in one of my YouTube shorts purchase this painting, and let me get out of the light of there so you can see the whole painting. I purchased this painting for $20 at an area thrift store, and it was up on the wall, and I did a quick YouTube short video of this, and I bought it on intuition. A lot of times when we see such, let's say, late 19th century paintings on canvas that are very almost impressionistic as seascapes and landscapes, I would say of the ones that I purchase, 9 out of 10 are very well done, but usually not worth much more than, let's say, $100 to $300 a piece. But I had a feeling that this one was very special. Before I get into this painting, I will tell you, you'll want to stay tuned for the value on that because you simply won't believe it. And I didn't Google Lens AI or look anything up. It is art assigned in the corner, and you're going to want to stay tuned for that. But out on my desk, I had one of the pieces I had purchased many years ago. I've yet to bring this on my channel. This is Roseville pottery, and it is early Rosaneware, and there it is signed Rosaneware and Egypto. So that little applied wafer is a very early Roseville mark, and it's the Egypto line. Why I show you this is one of the rarest pieces of Roseville that I've ever been able to buy that was in my collection, and look at the courage that it took years ago. This was $350 about, I would say, 15 or 16 years ago, and it says right on there, Rosane Egypto wall plaque, $350. And I purchased that dealer direct, so it was on this old ribbon, and I secured that with a steel cord. So that is a steel cord and riveted together to give that original silk cord. If someone decided, velvet cording or velvet ribbon original, it gave a little bit more strength to that. So I lined it with steel. Now, let me explain this. This is a wall pocket, and this is, again, matte green art pottery. Look at that glazed surface. I have never seen this identical form, but why I show you this is, years ago, I was courageous with what I purchased. I wasn't buying what everybody else was, and today I'm still not, and that's why I'm still in business. Look at this hand construction, and as an artist, I understood that this was hand built. The front was molded and then worked into the surface, all this detail by hand, but it was a molded piece, and then worked into the surface. And look at that applied Grecian kind of urn style that is the wall pocket that you would actually put flowers down in. Incredibly rare survivor, approximately 14 inches long. And why I show this is, the only way that I knew about this was not Google Lens or AI, because this was way before cell phones. Let me set that out of the way. That was way before cell phones. And what I will say is this, it's because I stayed in books. It's because I lived in the library. This Warman's book has been one of my best friends for a very long time. It's on Roseville pottery. It's a very good book. It covers everything that you need to know about Roseville, or almost everything. There is the Egypto page. Egypto is one of the favorites of Roseville. It's very high-end art. And it says right in here, part of the Rosanewares, Egypto, circa 1905, has less to do with Egypt and more to do with the American arts and crafts movement with its soft green glaze and naturalistic forms. And then it goes on to say that they're sometimes unmarked, but many pieces have the Rosaneware Egypto stamp on an applied wafer. So that's exactly what I just showed you. And of course, the ring light wants to wash out all that information. But I'll tell you, this book was amazing. Now, why I show you that is it does give values, and like this one vase here years ago was $3,700 to $3,800. Let me tell you a little secret on that $350 that I spent back then. I think currently it's worth a tremendous amount of money, and the reason why is I cannot find a comp anywhere online. I cannot find that exact wall plaque, and I most certainly cannot find something similar to it. I think it potentially could be one of a very few that were ever produced because that line was very limited. I would say value on that one to a Roseville collector even today, that the decorative arts market is down on things like that. I would still say $1,500 to $2,000, very, very easy. But that's because, I bought it so long ago, but I just bought it because I loved it. As an artist, it spoke to my artist heart and my sensitivity of design. One of my favorites is the Fujiyama and Woodland. And Fujiyama and Woodland was very Art Nouveau, but I wanted to show you that page because Fujiyama was one of my most favorite Rosevilles to collect. And if you want to see more Roseville, please leave it down in the comments section below. And look at Moss. That was one of my other favorite Roseville patterns. It was very naturalistic. The colors were gorgeous. And I believe it was, it's right there. It was introduced in 1936. Again, a production line. Let me show you in the back of the book for everyone curious on this, because you want me to continue to mention my books and how I've learned over the years. There is that Rosaneware Egypto wafer mark. That's exactly what I just showed you on the back of my piece. And again, it dates it to around 1905. And look at how great this reference book is for all of the early Roseville marks. Very important because it also talks about the reproduction marks. Be very careful on Roseville pottery. Tons of reproductions out there. Look what I was going to talk to you about today. I went crazy with jewelry stuff. I was going to talk to you about this, but nope, that's going to have to wait for another day. Oh, I bought a crazy great diamond as well. Let me show you one more thing that's out on my desk. Yeah, I'm going to show you this right now. Let me move the painting really quick, and I'll move this right back in. I should pause, but I'm not going to. This was one of the necklaces that I made a long time ago. As an artist, I believed in making wearable sculpture, and these are all copper maple leaf spinners. And I made this very, very architectural, and I don't even know how to describe this, wearable sculpture. And all of these little maple leaves are cut out of copper and then oxidized and patinaed with that beautiful kind of blue-green. And I did leave this out. I made these, I did leave this out in the elements for, I think, 4 years. So it further grew that oxidation, that honest surface. And this is tied around the neck with a ribbon. And there you go for the ribbon. And look at this. It's gigantic, by the way. But these are all maple spinners. I've never shown that on my channel, but I think I made those in 1996, 1995, 1996. And that was for my colors and metals class at the university. And I hope you love this. These are all maple spinners that I hand cut out of copper and then oxidized and then wired together in this incredible wearable collar. I loved things that were like this, that were wearable sculpture. It transcend just jewelry and went into like body adornment, as I show you one of my rings that I made as well. All right, also out on my desk, and then we're gonna go right back to that painting, 2 of the candy containers that I purchased at the Midwest Holiday Show. These are incredible. Absolutely lovely antique candy containers. They do have the drum on the bottom. There's the little box that these sat on. So these were only used to contain candy. Look at that spun cotton, the little crepe outfits, and those are porcelain faces. And look at him eyeballing her with that giant snowball. And look at her sitting all demure and cute with her little bundle of twigs and berries, and she's got her little spun cotton muff, and she's sitting on a log. And check out how those boxes are painted to look like wood bark, and then snow kind of dabbed on the surface. Crushed mica on the top of them. Circa dating on these 1910, 1915 into 1920. Incredible rare survivors and miniature, and I couldn't get over his face, how hard he was working to make that spun cotton snowball covered in mica. And look at his little sideways googly eyes looking over at her, and she's kind of looking at him like, don't you dare. You know, I had to have both of them. They were very expensive. For the duo, I paid $550. I think each one is probably worth around $495. Maybe on a good day you find them for $395 a piece. So I didn't pay full retail. And Vinny, if you ever watch this, thank you so much for the discount. You were magnificent. He was in from New Jersey. So please, if you haven't seen the Midwest Holiday Show video, please go over to that. Now that I move these out of the way, let me keep those safe. I'm going to put them way over there. And let me move this back in. So yes, I paid $20. There's the price tag. It was originally, let's see here, $25. And then there was a discount of $5. And less the discount, it was $20. I hope you can see that. If I bring it too close to the ring light, it's going to wash it out. But there you go. So, nope. It's still totally washed out. Let's see. Maybe I'll turn my ring light off. Give me one moment. Oh, look, I shouldn't have had the ring light on at all. It's $20. And let's go in on the signature. So there is the signature, and that says John P. Benson. That's what that says. John P. Benson. I did not know who that was, but by the hand of this artist, I knew this was an incredible original oil painting on canvas. Usually, John Benson would paint on canvas or boards. Canvased boards is what I should say. John Prentiss Benson, who this is done by, was an American painter from around 1865, and he died in 1947. So I would say this one probably dates to around 1900, 1920. He was born in Salem, Massachusetts. And what's incredible about him is his information is on Wikipedia. So he is a very well-known artist and fully, has a lot of auction results. Just a few years ago, a painting this size and this quality would have been between $1,500 and $2,000. They've come down a little bit, right around $1,000, maybe $1,200. So from my $20 instantaneous investment, I've made probably $1,000. Now, there was a retrospective of Mr. Prentiss's, or I should say Mr. Benson's work in 1968 at the Peabody Museum, right where he was born in Salem, Massachusetts. I love this painting. There's something so incredible about its realism, but also its loose gesture and how that has been painted and the skill set. What you, as a reseller, what I'd like to give as basic information of why I loved this was the color palette, the advanced hand, meaning in school we were taught that paintings are done in thirds. Here is a third, here is a third, and here is a third, meaning the foreground is a third, the water or the center of the painting is a third, and then the sky is a third. That is a golden rule of someone who was academically trained or knew what they were going for an end result. So a third, a third, a third. So the paintings are basically balanced in a third. Also, the composition, the way that this was handled, the boat in the water, that crest line there, drawing your eye into these rocks, and then the people drawing your eye right back to the sailboat. There was something incredible and simplistic about that composition. I loved the quietness about the painting. You could almost hear the conversation between these two figures here. A wonderful reflection in the water. Look at the crest line of where the ocean or the lake met the sand, met the beach, and that moody but yet powerful sky, wonderful clouds. There are some condition issues. I did blacklight the painting. There are no in-painting or restorations that I could find, which was wonderful. It does need to be cleaned, professionally cleaned. I always tell people, please don't clean your paintings. Please take them somewhere professional, because what if you have a $60,000 painting? You don't want to ruin a painting by cleaning it wrong. And there's several different ways to clean them. Now, you see that kind of imprint that runs around the canvas. By no means am I an expert. However, I did take conservation classes for about 4 days. And then I totally gave up because it was too scientific. It was too mathematical. It just wasn't going to work. It wasn't going to work for my artist brain. And there are so many people that excel at it, so leave it to the experts. But you see there is this stretcher mark where the stretcher has applied pressure to the painted surface of the canvas. That can be remedied in a couple different ways. One is a vacuum table, and there's other ways to do it, but one is a vacuum table, and that works with pressure and humidity, and that can do that. Also, relining a canvas can solve that problem, but it's not severe. It hasn't affected the paint surface that much, and there is some slight crazing. Again, the varnish does need to be cleaned. But what I loved about it is the light and the shadow, the composition, that intimate moment. For a John Prentiss Benson painting, from, again, that small price of $20, and I can't believe they scotch taped the the price tag to the surface of the frame, but they didn't know any better. It's okay, I'll get that off of there without a problem. But look at that, what appears to be the original frame. Understated yet elegant, timeless, and sophisticated. And there's the verso, completely paper covered. Someone apparently hung this on a nail and almost punched a hole through the canvas, so please be careful not to do that. And if I peeled this back, there may be some information written on the canvas from the artist, maybe a date, maybe a location, not exactly sure. But what I loved about this is that it was so cared for in terms of putting paper on the back. Not archival, not acid-free, so needs to be addressed. But look at that. Let me take you in for the details, just so you can see that built-up, almost slightly impasto surface. Leaves you with a greater dimension, a greater perspective. Look at the figures, almost misty, seeing from far away. Oh, the movement of the water. And that slight color variation. Look at the subtle color variation. That's the hand of someone who knew what they were doing. And look at those tones in the water. Seafoam green, light turquoise, cream, into that really beautiful aqua blue. Very incredible tonality. And let's get in on that boat. He is so well known for his seascapes. And I so wish I could get the clouds in for you, but that's the closest I can get to showing you the clouds in the sky. I hope you've enjoyed this video. I hope it encourages you to get out there and look. Again, I don't want anyone to ever think that I only do jewelry, because that is not the case. I've specialized in jewelry, but my affection for all art, let this be a testament to that. I so appreciate your time. I hope I covered some interesting facts for you. Again, these are like kind of scratch-off lottery tickets. My $20 investment would have been worth at least $150 to $285 based on the end result. But the end result, with an incredible and early signature by John Prentiss Benson, an American painter and artist, does escalate the value to approximately $1,000 to maybe even $1,500. I am tempted to do something with this. I did not buy this for my personal collection. I bought this for resale. And what I'm thinking about doing is having this go to a nationally advertised auction. And if you are interested in me doing that, please leave down in the comment section below if you would like me to send this away to auction and see what this goes for at an auction with no reserve. When I send my items away to auction, I do not put reserves on them. I want them to actively sell. So let me know it down in the comment section below if you would be entertained that that you can follow me through the process of sending a piece of art through national auction. I would be glad to do it. So please, if you want to put me up to the challenge, please do so. And I can do a video of the process of consigning such a painting to an auction house and then following it through the auction process. Thank you so much for joining in today. I greatly appreciate your time and your attention. You have all really inspired me to continue these very quick videos and basic shows and tells. I really do appreciate the time and the attention. I can't stress it enough. If you enjoy my videos, please consider sharing me out to other people that you would think would enjoy my content. And again, thank you so much. Have an amazing day. And I have to say it, I love you because I do.